It being on or about 6:30 on August 25, 2025, I call to order the meeting of the Easton Conservation Commission. This meeting is being conducted remotely over Zoom, and attendance by board and commission members will be remote, and remote attendance shall count towards a quorum. Let's begin with a roll call vote to establish quorum for the meeting. Carroll, present.
Crossman, present.
Goodman, present.
Spadia, present.
Vecchio, present.
First order of business on the agenda is general public.
Well, keep it going. There's a general public comment. We can open that up. We have 2 minutes per person if they'd like to have any comments of anything they'd like to talk about.
Right now, we only have people for the first hearing, so.
Okay, so I'm gonna go with any public comment. So let's move on to our first hearing. So this is a amendment to an existing permit. So we're going, it's 642 and 644 Turnpike Street.
Yes, good evening. My name is Michael Peralta. I'm a professional civil engineer with PMP Consulting, Inc. And at the last hearing we had on this modification request, the plans were sent off for peer review. We've received the comments from both staff and Eric Diaz, the peer reviewer. We have submitted today an updated supplemental report, drawings with the shop drawings for the retaining wall for both walls, and an updated O&M. The majority of the peer review comments were more clarifications, coordination of drawings with the shop drawings that have come in on the walls, and then adding more information on the substitute of those water quality units, which basically even have Massachusetts testing on it versus the ones from Contact. So we answered all the questions. At this point in time, the questions that may be forthcoming will be more of housekeeping, this dot this I, cross this T type of thing. The technical aspects of compliance with the regulations, that's basically been done. It's a matter of making sure that the final set of drawings is a buildable set of documents. And Eric is really good at that. And we appreciate what he's done on this thing too, because he wanted us to clarify some of the drawings, the details, to make sure that the contractors know what the heck us engineers are trying to say to build out there. So, which is good. So at this point in time, we're just going to be waiting for Eric to get back to us and Jen just to get her eyes back on these documents. I apologize for the last minute, but I had a little bit of minor surgery last week. I had a knee replaced, so I'm not too ambulatory right now. But we did get it done. One of the things that obviously the commission can either continue the hearing, motion to close the hearing, issue an order, conditions pending any outstanding comments. But one of the more important things on this side is from the original approval to even what we're showing on these plans, the building did not change. The contractor has started clearing the site, started doing the earthwork out there, and he's ready to put the foundation in. And we need the commission to advise staff to sign off on the building permit so we can get the foundation in. The contractor has the steel ordered for the building, and its delivery is coming soon, and he doesn't want to lose the steel erector's time to put it up. When you do that, you're out of luck for a while. So if the commission has questions, I can answer questions about the building itself. But like I said, that did not change between the plans. So that's one thing that the general contractor, earth moving contractor have asked me to ask tonight is, please, release the hounds, if you will, and let the building start to go in while we do the last minute fine tuning on these plans for their approval.
Thank you. So just for the record, I had a technical issue apparently, and I'm now back.
Okay.
I did hear the entire presentation. I think our barrier on a full approval tonight is just the sequence in getting the things, and I haven't had a chance to review it. I don't know that Jen has had a chance to review it, and I'm pretty sure Mr. Diaz hasn't had a chance either. Um, I hear what you're saying about the construction sequencing piece, and I guess there's an existing notice of intent. Jennifer, you have something you want to add here?
Well, so far the site has been cleared and they've grubbed the site, put in sediment control, but they have not done pre-construction meeting or provided the rest of the pages of the SWIP, so they haven't complied with their permit at all yet.
We'll send them an
We
email
haven't
tonight.
reviewed, yeah, I've sent and we've talked to them. But they're not in compliance with the permit yet, and we have not been able to review any of the new documents that came in today. So we don't know that everything is actually ready to go yet.
You know, the big issue is the building itself, because if this doesn't get approved, then we go to the original permit. So, and the building didn't change between the two of them. But I hear you. And I remember an email that you sent out a while ago to them. When are you going to do the pre-construction meeting? So shame on them, and they're going to get a pointed email from us to say, you asked us to do something tonight, and you haven't finished on your part of the job. Do your job. So we'll follow up with that. And once we have the pre-construction meeting, again, if it's okay to sign off and let the building start to be constructed while the fine tuning for this gets completed for this, like I said, if this doesn't get approved, the other permit allows the building anyway, and that's the one we'll have to go by.
So my conversation with the building inspector today was that we received new information that no one's had a chance to review yet. Once Eric is able to review it and I'm able to review it, if we have no other comments, then I would sign the building permit in advance of the continued public hearing.
Thank you. That's all we can ask.
Yeah, I mean, as long as everything is ready and we anticipate that the commission would approve,
Yeah.
then I have no problem signing that early.
We
But
highly
it will come
appreciate that.
tomorrow, and they definitely have to start complying with the permit and
Yeah.
do the things they're
Yes.
required to do pre-construction.
Yeah, okay. I've been out of commission for a week, so I am going to make sure that that happens.
Honestly, I'm impressed you're here.
I can only sit for about 25, 30 minutes at a time, and then I have to move around on the knee stiffens up. This was important that I be here tonight.
We
And I
agree.
think it was important to your commission also that you have someone that's knowledgeable and knows what's going on with this thing to talk to you.
Could someone remind me what our next meeting is?
September 15th, but we may want to just ask Eric if there's anything in particular he had requested, just to make sure it's in the record.
No, I did have an opportunity just to take a very cursory look over the response to comments letter that they had sent today right before the meeting. Just based on that, it looks like they've addressed my comments, but I do want to reserve the right just to take a little bit of a deeper look. But knowing what the timeline looks like as far as these guys needing to get, started, I will do my best to turn, any further comments or just finalize it in the next couple of days and get that back over to Jen as soon as possible.
Thank you, Eric.
Thank you.
Sure.
Eric, I appreciate it.
No problem.
Any questions or comments from other members of the commission? Seeing none, any public comment here for 642 through 644 Turnpike Street?
There's nobody else here.
Oh, is that true? That's funny. Okay. Motion to continue 642 through 644 Turnpike Street to the September 15, 2025 meeting of the Easton Conservation Commission.
Vecchio second.
Carol motion, Vecchio second. Roll call vote. Carol, aye.
Crossman, aye.
Goodman, aye.
Spady, aye.
Vecchio, aye.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Up next is minor modification for 524 Depot Street.
Yes. They actually needed to make some changes to the infiltration system at the public safety portion, the front. When you first drive in, I guess it would be on the left-hand side. The groundwater was higher than they anticipated and included in the design and specs, and this is why we require peer review during soil testing. So they did provide a letter and a revised section of a plan. Eric had reviewed it. So I'll give Eric a moment after. And since everything looked appropriate, I did give them notice to proceed, but because it is a change in the plan, it's on the meeting tonight, just so you all have an idea of what's happening, but we didn't want to hold them up a week if we didn't have to. Eric, do you have anything to add?
No, not really. They did reconfigure the chamber to move it further away from the groundwater. It appears to do the same thing. And I don't have an issue with the change. The only thing that I did ask is they didn't provide the HydroCAD model for that particular change, so I just asked them to send that just so we have it for record. But it'll hold the same volume, so I think they're in good shape. And keeping it moving was important. The contractor was out there and a little dead in the water until he's able to get this thing backfilled, so it made sense.
So did they send you the HydroCAD yet?
I don't have it yet. No, maybe I should. If you'd like, I can drop an email tomorrow morning and try to close the loop on that.
That would be good, thank you.
Sure, no problem.
Did anyone want to see the plan? It was in your binder.
I'm okay for the purposes of this. Does this require a vote?
I would say, yeah, you could call it a minor modification. Please.
Okay. I guess I should just ask, any public comment here? Understanding that we do see that we're the only people on the call. Any questions or comments from other members of the commission? Motion to issue a minor modification for 524 Depot Street.
Second.
Carol motion, Crossman second, roll call vote. Carol, I.
Crossman, aye.
Goodman, aye.
Spady, aye.
Vecchio, aye.
Thank you, Eric.
Thank you, Eric.
everybody. Have a good night.
You too.
You too.
Aye.
Up next is certificates of compliance. First up is 20 Meeting House Lane.
So at the last meeting, we talked about the no disturbance zone markers and posts were not set in concrete. The property owner did call me today and let me know that they were redone over the weekend. And so that is ready for a full COC.
Motion to issue a certificate of compliance for 20 Meeting House Lane.
Second.
Carol motion, Goodman second, roll call vote. Carol, I.
Crossman, aye.
Goodman, aye.
Spady, aye.
Vecchio, aye.
Up next is 10 Lantern Lane twice. I think they're both in the same situation, so let's take them at once.
Yeah, at the last meeting, you postponed for them to give you a plan of how they were going to water and protect the plants from deer browse. I have not heard anything from them.
So I think our options here are we could move to approve them, which doesn't seem to be what we want in relation to our conversation last meeting. We can move to deny, which would require the applicant to reapply, or we can take no action. My feeling is that because our last meeting was sort of short in time to this meeting, and we have some time between now and the 9:15 meeting, let's give them one more push. They don't have to pay an additional application fee for the same request. And if they can't get it done between now and then, or at least respond to us in some way, we can have a conversation about a different action.
I think that's fair.
You're good at this, worthy chair.
And anybody feel otherwise? So we'll take no action. Hopefully we'll hear from them between now and 9:15.
I'll send one reminder.
Thank you, Jen. So moving on very quickly through this agenda to board discussion. Anybody have a chance to review the meeting minutes of 8/11/25?
I'd like to motion.
Oh.
Go right ahead. I'm glad someone else read them.
So am I.
I found them to be accurate and in order. Motion to accept.
Second.
Goodman motion, Vecchio second, roll call vote, Carol, I.
Rossman, aye.
Goodman, aye.
Spady, aye.
Vecchio, aye.
CPC update.
Oh,
Yes.
Is that anything
Jen,
we
go
want
right
to?
ahead.
Yeah. I was gonna let Bill do it. So we were actually on the last agenda for CPC. There was a little confusion there. I only found the day of.
Day of confusion. You gotta love that.
The day of. And so it was to present the pond project, the invasive plants in the pond. So getting the design and permitting costs for new pond for whatever type of treatment would be required to control the invasive plants, and to do the evaluation of Langwater Pond and Long Pond. During the meeting, one of the members said, well, why don't we do Shovel Shop instead of Long Pond, since most of that is in Stoughton anyway, and they're already treating it. So that's a question for you. But they did ultimately recommend for Fall Town meeting that it's $13,000 be brought to the Fall Town meeting. So anything Phil would like to add?
Oh, I mean, that's Jen, you've now that again, I like the idea of doing Shovel Shop Pond instead of Long Pond, again, for the reasons that most of it's in Stoughton, and Stoughton has been doing a pretty good job of weeding out the invasive species, pun intended. And I think it would behoove us to kind of concentrate more on Shovel Shop and, potentially other ponds that are in the town limits of Easton. But yeah, I'm curious to see how everyone else feels about that.
Seems like a good idea.
Wonderful idea, especially kayaking it this summer. Yes. All of them need it, honestly, but yes.
Yeah, you're not wrong.
Yeah, given the appetite for it, I wonder if it's something we should expand and keep going with.
Love to.
But I'm sure there'll be more conversations. I think it's a good point about Long Pond, because Stoughton also I think their Board of Health is really involved in that pond because they swim in it.
I believe you're right. Yeah.
There's a town beach there. So I wonder if, us doing that may inadvertently sort of step on their toes a little. And if there isn't a conversation that should be had if we want to take some action at Long Pond. But I think it makes all the sense in the world to shift from Long Pond to Shovel Shop for the interim.
Yeah.
Okay.
I guess I'll be the lone dissenter. We had worked, Stoughton had approached us many years ago, back in maybe 2013, 14, 15, about working with them, and we rebuffed them at that time. And in talking to, when I saw these, the note for this agenda item, I went out to some local guys I know who have fished the town for a long time as kids, being the same age as all of us being townies. And there's still, you're talking from that beach, a substantial amount of Long Pond that goes back to, heading towards the gun club. And I don't know, I think it'd be nice just to finish it off and say, hey, Long Pond, both sides is done. And I just think more people utilize Long Pond than Shovel Shop.
You're probably right
Definitely true.
about utilization.
Definitely true.
So, I want to do obviously I want to do them all, as I stated, way back, but there's a lot to be said for checking the box and saying, okay, Long Pond's done. We don't got to go back to that in a little bit, rather than hopping around. But, hey, that's why we have board authorities.
I wonder if we shouldn't reach out to their agent, I think it's Jim Conlon, and just see what the status is of their invasive removal over there. And just because, and I don't know this, I've never been, to be honest, I'm nowhere near an expert on invasive removal in waterways, but it would be weird to me if they only did the Stoughton portion of the pond.
You bring up a good point, then.
Like,
Well,
wouldn't it be a global water treatment?
I mean, it's going to flow downstream, but they're not going to pay they're not going to pay for treatment that's past the beach. That's my guess.
Yeah.
Well,
Because I remember when they did it, and it was probably like 5 or 6 years ago now, but they had public notices up all over the place saying don't go in the water for a certain period of time when they did the herbicide application. And I just wondered what they actually did, what their success was, and where it stands.
Well, Ben, I agree. I think it would be worth at least reaching out to the Stoughton Town's agent. Because either way, if we were to, my feeling, and I've only been on CPC for a short period of time, but I feel like some of the other members might want more of like a concrete reasoning why we would want to be there. So if we could say, hey, we know we reached out to Stoughton's agent and we know that they haven't been touching this, that would be a nice little thing to have in our back pocket. Um, yeah, I think that's a smart idea to reach out.
Jen, do you mind reaching out?
No, made the note.
Thank you.
Thanks, Jen.
So I think that was it for CPC updates.
That's all I got.
All right. Up next is chair updates, Board of Health.
Sorry, we have a hand up. Kyla joined the meeting, so she has her hand up.
We can take that out of order too.
Okay.
Thanks so much, Jen, and to the commission. Sorry I joined late. Just a quick question about if you're using pesticides, herbicides in the pond. We have found recently that many of them have PFAS in them, so you need to be super careful about what you're using. It's not just, so it's not going to be on the label. You can't assume that if the manufacturer says it's okay, that it is okay, because a lot of them are inert ingredients and it doesn't have to be listed on the label. And if they chlorinated containers, they have PFAS, in particular PFOA, leaching out of the container and into the pesticides, which given our situation here with water contamination, I think is a really dangerous idea. So I would just wanted to mention that you should make sure whatever you're using, and maybe even consider mechanical removal rather than using an herbicide, because the last thing we need is to be putting more PFAS into our waters. Thank you.
Thank you.
So I'm just going to make one note for you, Kyla. So we don't have any prescribed treatment right now. The first part of that grant application from CPC is for Water and Wetland, the company, to evaluate all the options, bring them all to the Conservation Commission for the public hearing and the permitting. That'll all be part of public discussion. So if people have concerns about herbicides, and that's a really good thing you brought up about PFAS, but there's no set, oh, we're going to use herbicides.
Great.
Agenda for any part of the project right now. It's just have the professionals tell us what's available and the costs, and then the environmental impacts. And
Great.
then it'll be sort of, it's more collaborative on what the treatment would actually be.
Great. Thank you, Jen.
Sure.
So while we're here, let's skip chair updates, go to environmental planner updates.
You just want to go right to the trails update then?
Yeah, let's go right to the trails update.
Okay. Hang on. I'll just move my papers around here. The only thing I was going to say for the trails update is we had 2 Eagle Scout projects that they just gave us all their photos and they look fantastic. So we wanted to send them some sort of thank you. So if you guys want to chat about that. And then today I was given the okay to start doing public engagement activities again, including trying to bring together the trail committee that I formed and then was told I couldn't do anything with immediately. So hopefully all those people are still interested. And then we'll start to pull everybody together so they know, what they should be doing for trail maintenance. I'll do that quick PowerPoint presentation that I did last year just to refresh everyone's memory. And then go out to the A site together and just have, question and answer so people know what they should and should not be doing on the trail. That's it for my update, but I'm sure there's discussion.
I think first, just on the Eagle Scout projects, they both did phenomenal, just absolutely outstanding jobs on their individual projects. And I was sort of thinking and discussing that we should come up with some type of a citation that we can issue as a commission, just to recognize people when they do certain things for the commission that goes above and beyond. And I think both of our Eagle Scout projects warrant something like that. And I don't know if anybody has a different opinion.
No, it's a great idea.
Great
They
idea.
deserve it.
Yeah, fantastic idea. I think there's actually somewhere at town hall, there is on somebody's computer somewhere, there is something like what you just described.
I was hoping you'd have some insight into that. I
There's
didn't want
one,
to put you on the spot and say during a prior term, I'm wondering if this is something that existed.
Well, good luck finding it. It'd be a lot faster just to create a new
Create a
one,
new one.
honestly, at this point.
If I remember, the problem with it was the size of the paper required a little bit of a process to get it stamped and done. But
Size of the paper?
yeah, so I did these for a little while at the State House, and it was an odd print that people did for accommodations. And the biggest issue was just getting the thing in the printer.
That's too funny.
I'm
But
really confused.
I just think it'd be a nice sort of minimal gesture for all the effort that was put into these. These were very well done.
Yes.
And Jen, do you have an idea of a timeline for the next Trails meeting or first renewed Trails meeting?
I was just given a okay to begin
Yeah.
things again today. So all the meeting stuff has to go out first, and then we'll see where the open space plan has to be finished. It's supposed to be done this week. Once we get the final letter from the Recreation Commission,
Perfect.
and then a few other little tweaks that we just need to finish up and make sure the page numbers all match and all that kind of stuff. And then after that, I can start looking at new projects or old projects that are allowed to continue again.
Okay.
Oh, Kyla, you'd sent an email that you wanted to chat about trails, so I think we're good
Yeah.
for you.
I did, thank you.
Kyla, I'm sorry I didn't have you do this the last time, but would you just please, for public record,
Sure.
introduce yourself by name and address?
Yep. Kyla Bennett, 2 Chickadee Lane. So as some of you know, my husband and I live adjacent to the Flyway Trail system. We spent a lot of money donating land to the town. We had to get a surveyor and lawyers and everything to give you guys that easement so we could get public access into that trail system from this neighborhood, which has about 37 houses, and then a lot of people on Lincoln Street also come in and use the trails from that way. I have to give credit to the Eagle Scouts who did a fabulous job building the bridges and the trails in there with Chris Patrick. They did a great job. My husband helped. We donated money to it. It's a great resource for the entire town. My concern is that these trails, which are used by mountain bikers, joggers, cross-country skiers, dog walkers, and even people in snowshoes, the mountain bikers are treating it more as their private mountain bike park. And while I don't mind the mountain bikes out there, it's passive recreation. The way they're treating the trails and what they're doing is really damaging them. Chris went in and cut back some of the plants along the trails, and in my personal opinion, it went beyond maintenance. And I told him that. I'm not saying anything that I haven't said to his face. In one instance, he made the trail at least a foot wider, which it shouldn't be. That's not maintenance. A lot of those plants that were cut back could have just been pushed to the side. They did not have to be cut all the way down. It's going to take years for them to grow back. A lot of this cutting was in wetlands. The branches were discarded in wetlands and waters. It was not, I think it was too much. And the only reason it was done, the trails were still usable and we were all using them, is that the mountain bikers didn't like what they call the windshield wiper effect, where after it rains, they get wet on their legs. You know, you're outside, you're going to get wet. I think it was too much. The more disturbing thing is every single fall, somebody, I don't know who, comes in and leaf blows all of the leaves off the trail. While you may think, great, makes it easier to see the roots and the rocks so you don't trip. Yeah, but that's what makes the soil. So the debris from the leaves and the branches and everything that falls off in the fall is what makes soil. And when they repeatedly blow the leaves off the trail, there's nothing there to decompose and to protect those roots. So the roots are coming up. There's nothing that's protecting them, and it's getting rootier and worse and worse and worse. So Chris tried to bring some dirt in one area as an experiment, which upset me because a lot of the dirt that's being brought into Easton contains invasive species. We put in a ground source heat pump. The guy that was a professional, not some, fly-by-night guy, came in. It was completely contaminated with bitter dock. We've been battling the bitter dock ever since that dirt was brought in. Borderland has a huge problem now with black swallowwort. We have a lot of invasives that are really, really hard to get rid of. And when I spoke to Chris about this, he said, oh, I didn't bring the dirt in. I dug it from a hole in the woods. I don't think that's what's supposed to happen here. These lands, and I gave Jen, when I was fighting with my neighbors with the farm a couple years ago, I gave Jen a copy of a map. I went through every single deed for every parcel back there that was either sold or given to the town. And every single deed says that the purposes of the land being given to the town were for conservation. A lot of it were for water conservation. Some of it said recreation. But nowhere did it say mountain bike park, and nowhere did it say that we should be digging up soil elsewhere in this conservation land, which provides incredible habitat for a number of species, and putting it on the trails because they're leaf blowing. I mean, if they just leave the leaves alone, we won't need to bring in soil. So I am asking the commission to please tell the mountain bikers that they are not allowed to leaf blow. It's also, in my mind, an alteration under the Wetlands Protection Act and Easton's bylaw because they're blowing all of this debris into the wetlands and waters. And they just need to leave it alone. The purpose of these trails are primarily for conservation. Passive recreation is fine, but this is going beyond passive recreation in my mind.
Do you have an understanding as to how long the leaf blowing's been going on?
3 years? 3 years now.
Is it seasonal? Is it something that's happening fall or continuously?
It happens in the fall, but they do it more than once.
Have you seen somebody doing it with like a gas backpack, or is this electric tools, if you know?
I don't know. I think Chris did say he did some of it, but then he claims he stopped, which if he said that, I believe him. It may be Lucas. That's what I've heard through the grapevine. I don't know who's doing it.
Okay.
We can't see the trail from our house, but we're in there every single day, and it happens every fall. So I wanted to get to you guys before the leaves start falling because we're going to start it again.
No, it's certainly timely. And I think us having our trail meetings back with the maintenance crew will be really helpful in explaining sort of our expectations around what is trail maintenance versus what's an alteration. And certainly leaf blowing would not be something that we'd be telling them to do. And we can, I think, a little bit more expressly state, don't leaf blow the trails. As far as issuing an overall notice to the mountain bikers, I'm not sure logistically how we would do that. I think some of the things in your email make a lot of sense to me. And I think maybe just some education around, hey, maybe give them a break a little bit after a couple days of rain. Makes all the sense in the world. How we logistically would enforce something like that becomes another set of issues.
Yeah, you can't. Yeah.
But I also think if these are trails people are using all the time and want to continue to use them, maybe it's something that can be self-policed in a realistic way. And I think maybe folks just understanding that mountain biking aggressively after a heavy rain creates erosion issues which damage the trail long term may be enough to disincentivize it. I think a lot of this can be addressed at our upcoming trails meeting.
Thank you. Yeah, I agree. It's just an education issue. I think it will help the trails and the routes recover if we do just let them. And again, I have to do a shout out to Chris for all the maintenance he does. Every time there's a tree down, he comes in and clears it off and leaves it to the side, which is what he's supposed to do. But where Mike Spadia, who's on the commission, and my husband and I, we clean things off that trail every single day, but
Yep.
you know, because the branches come down, whatever. But the leaves and the twigs just need to stay where they are. And I really appreciate you bringing that up. I'm happy to provide you with any information on, you know, scientific research about how important it is. I think in my email, Mr. Chair, that you received from Jen had some of those articles in there.
Yeah.
There's a lot of information out there about how important it is to leave the leaves on the trails.
Full transparency, I haven't been into that trail system in a couple of years just because of where my family is, but I wasn't aware that it was being leaf blown at all.
Yeah, it is. And it's a beautiful trail system. It's a real asset for the town. And we see people coming in from, you know, the Canton Road area, Flyway Pond area, you know, people are coming in from all over. It's getting a lot of use, which is great. I'm very happy about that.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Anyone else wants to add to this discussion?
Just that I want to echo that I think bringing this up multiple times in trail talks is going to be probably the best way to broadcast this information. That's a really good idea.
Yeah, and thank you, Kyle. I appreciate what you had to say about the trails, and yeah, you know, I also obviously agree. It'd be nice to get a little more soil back on those trails and let the leaves just stay. So,
Okay, thank you all very much for hearing me out. I really appreciate it.
Of course, thank you for the time.
Thank you.
Good night.
Have a good night.
So let's move back to chair updates. I just want to generally state that Triple E's been detected in Easton, which strikes me as early. Although I do think it is typically the end of August we're seeing it pop. So just be careful in the woods.
Anywhere there's mosquitoes.
True. It's true. Back to environmental planner updates.
Okay. So we did the pre-construction meeting with Department of Transportation on the 138 Washington Street, Elm Street project. And so they'll be starting that project soon. 38 Randall Street conservation restriction is ready to be signed. You voted this a few times before, but it's a whole lot easier if you just vote it again, so I can put today's date on there instead of going through the minutes to find the first time that you approved it. This will require everyone to come in individually to wet sign. I can't sign that for you electronically. And you need to do it in front of the notary. And Suzanne in our office is a notary, so just let us know when you're able to come by to sign that conservation restriction, please.
Motion. You want a motion?
Yes, please.
Motion to approve the conservation restriction for 38 Randall Street.
Vecchio second.
Carol motion, Vecchio second, roll call vote. Carol, aye.
Rossman, aye.
Goodman abstain.
Spadia.
Vecchio aye.
So as Commissioner Goodman abstained, would he still need to sign it?
No.
Okay. All
No,
right. So it's
you
just,
have a quorum.
all right. Perfect.
So do I need to say or no?
No signature for you. You're good.
Okay.
I mean, you're
Which
welcome because
honestly-
it's the commission's vote, but if you don't want to, then you don't need to because we have a full board, or the rest of the board is able to sign with a quorum.
Oh, yeah, I have no problem signing. I just chose to abstain because I know nothing of it. I've never
Yeah.
visited it or never voted on the matter. So,
No problem. That's all I have.
Any pertinent item not reasonably anticipated by the chair?
Motion to adjourn.
Oh, I do have one question. I'm sorry.
Nice try.
Rescind.
Nick.
Last. The next meeting, we have an executive session.
Yeah.
So I guess the question is, do you want to start half an hour early to do
Yeah, that'd be
the
awesome.
executive session, or do you still want to start at 6:30 and then just let people know wetland hearings probably won't start till 7?
I think historically it's always been problematic to do them at 6:30 for a variety of reasons. I would like to, if other members of the commission can start at 6, I would very much prefer to start at 6.
Make that happen.
Yep. Fine.
Can do.
Okay.
And so Jennifer, just so we're all clear, logistically how that'll work, there will be 2 links for that meeting, right?
Correct. Yep.
So, and I think I actually have to start in the original meeting link, vote to establish
do.
quorum,
Yep.
and then we have to leave that meeting and go into executive session.
Correct.
Correct.
Yeah, and that's just because we have someone coming to speak from town hall, and rather than have them wait all night to do it at the end of the meeting, we'll just start early. Okay. Good, thank you. That really
And
is
we'll
the last.
address that and with everybody there in 30 minutes will give us excuse me,
Bless
enough
you.
time to deal with it. All right, so Nate had a motion, Carol second,
Adjourn.
roll call vote, Carol I.
Crossman, aye.
Goodman, aye.
Spady, aye.
Vecchio, aye.
Well done, everybody.
Thank
Quick
you.
one. Thank you, everybody.
Thanks all. Have a great week.
You too.
Have a good night. Thank you.